Hey y'all, how are you today? I hope you're great. I just want to say thank you for serving at Hayes Hills Kids. I really could not do any of the kids' ministry that occurs here at the church without your partnership. Today, in our Hayes Hills Kids training tidbit, I want to talk about a new sign that you're going to see in your classroom. Now, remember, each training tidbit video is just one small little, tidbit of information that helps all of us continue our training to be the best volunteers we can be for the kids. There's a new sign in your rooms. I'm going to throw it up here on the screen, and you can see it's called a feelings chart. Now, this chart is designed to help us be detectives with our kids. Sometimes our kids have attitudes that aren't super awesome or helpful for learning in the classroom and having a good time together at Hayes Hills Kids. Sometimes kids are just being defiant, they're being kind of snotty, and you gotta, handle it in that way, using the 3-count system. But sometimes kids have deeper things going on. Kids oftentimes don't know how to fully express their feelings yet, and so their behavior is an indicator to what's going on. Especially if you have a kid whose behavior pattern is normally one way, and then they start to act another way. Normally they listen really well, and one day they're just being stinkers in class. They could be being defiant, but there's a good chance that maybe something else is going on beneath the surface. And what we want to do as leaders in kids ministry is be feelings detectives. We want to figure out what's going on to get at the heart of the issue and really understand exactly what's going on. After all, how are we going to be able to apply the truth of God's word to their life if we're not dealing with the real issue at stake? And so on these feeling charts, it's this very simple way for us to help kids process the way that they're feeling and get to the bottom of any situation that might be going on. So you can see here that the first thing that we have the kids do, we can walk kids through this, is I feel blank because blank. So if you have a kid who their attitude is struggling, their feelings they're struggling to just communicate them well, grab them to the side, pull them aside, and walk through this chart with them. And the first thing would be to say, hey, little Ethan, tell me, man, what do you feel? I feel blank because blank. So maybe someone might say, I feel sad because my dad is out of town. And then the next thing is what I need is trying to identify what's going on in the hearts and lives of the kids. And so if the kid has answered, I feel sad because my dad is out of town, what I need is a hug or a high five or maybe to call him. And we may or may not be able to say call the child's dad, but you know what? We might be able to give them a high five or a side hug or some kind of words of encouragement. And then you see all of these emojis at the bottom. Another way that we can help kids figure out how they feel is to look at this list and the faces below and have them touch one or however many that they feel. Sometimes maybe a kid can't get, oh man, I feel a little bit depressed and kind of sad. But they can look at the emoji face that has the tears and they can touch it and say, I feel like that face. These are all just different tools that can be in your toolbox to help us figure out what's going on in a kid's mind and in their heart and to ascertain more about what's going on in their feelings. These are all in the rooms, and I encourage you to use them as you need to so that we can love our kids in the best way possible. And once we know how they feel and what's really going on, we can then go to God's word and say, what does God's word have to say about whatever feeling it is that they are feeling at the moment? So use these guys, and hopefully they will be beneficial to you. That is it for today's training tidbit, and I am excited that I will see you next time I get to see you here at church.